I'm Luke Dacey. I graduated last year from University of Brighton, and I did product design. After graduation, I started an internship for a telecoms company doing user experience design. Throughout my degree, I fell in love with the psychology behind design and the way we interact with products. And the vast majority of interaction design user experience-based jobs are with interfaces. I have a graphics background before I came to university. So the marriage of graphics with the psychology works really well going towards designing interfaces. So I finished my internship, I was hired as a contractor, and I'm now a full-time employee and in the user experience department. I think the course helped tremendously in getting me to where I am today and the job I have. I had design experience before I came to university. What I didn't properly have was my process and methodology. And as I worked through the first and second years, and especially when I got into my placement year and was working for external companies, I realised that I needed to know what I was doing, and my employers needed to be able to trust me when handling a project to take it from concept all the way through to finished artifact, and they needed to know that my process was sound. That really opened my eyes in the placement year, and then I expanded on that in my final year, and thankfully everything worked out and I got my first, and I was very happy. I think the placement year was definitely a key part of the course. I wouldn't have learned as much as I did from the course if it wasn't for that. The first and second years set me up well with skills and introductions to new technologies and trends and how to find out about those things. But my placement year was the application of that. And it also showed me how different industry projects are compared to university projects. At university, you can spend anything up to a month working on a project and take it at your own pace and work through it. But in industry, we were doing projects in 3 or 4 days, quick turnarounds. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes a couple of days. I'd be told that a rep from a materials company was coming in the afternoon to develop concepts, talk with him what would be the best for what we want. At university, you didn't get the exposure and the pressure like that. But working in industry, it just shows you, it sets you up better for your final year, and it shows you what to expect once you graduate and where you progress. The best things for me for that, things that benefited me the most were, I think, primarily the teaching. Working and being taught by people that have spent years in the design industry and know their craft, and people that you can rely on for expertise and in certain areas, that was invaluable. It saves you a lot of time, a lot of messing around, and you just learn a lot from them. They treat them professionally, they'll treat you professionally, and you get a lot from that. I think also, and I said this from the very start of the course, one of the biggest and strongest tools we had was each other. Being in the design studio and being surrounded by other designers working on other projects and being in that kind of environment and all of us nurturing that environment was really beneficial. You could, if you were struggling and had a bit of designer's block, you could walk around for 5 minutes, go and get a drink, come back, chat with someone else who understands the problem you have and can see it from a fresh perspective and with a new pair of eyes. And I think a lot of people may not say it in public, but a lot of the final ideas you get for projects, a lot of the good ideas you get actually come from other people. You bounce your ideas off, it spitballs for 5-10 minutes, and then you come up with something that is brilliant. But that I think is one of the biggest things, just each other. I think if you're looking at a design career and you're considering places such as Brighton, the thing that helped narrow it down for me initially was finding the designs and finding the theories and the methods that inspired me and that I liked. And if you search around enough, you start to get a list of names, and those names keep popping up all over the place. And I looked at those areas and the people that inspired me, and product design just kept popping up. And I looked into it more, and I had an honest conversation with myself about what I really wanted to do. I was 26 when I started university. I knew I'd be 30 by the time I graduated. So for me, it was almost my last chance to retrain and do something and really be focused on what I wanted to do. So it was very key that I picked the right area to study. And so product design kept ticking all the boxes. And then going through the design course, it helped me filter and narrow down the things I liked and the things I didn't like. And I think one of the most important things about doing the course, or doing any university course, or any design course in particular, is finding out the areas that you don't like. Finding the things that you don't want to do are very, very much important as the things that you do love and do want to do. And for me, by the time I got to my final year, and having all that in the back of my mind, I knew that I wanted to go into some sort of human factors based area of design, and I geared my final year to that area. And in the final year, we got the opportunity to choose separate modules to work on, and I wrote my modules and based them all around user experience, human factors, semiotics, and areas that really interested me, that gave me more experience and made me more employable in the long run. I think ultimately doing the course, it can be as flexible as you make it. You have a lot of facilities and a lot of help there, a lot of people that know what they're doing. The first couple of years, I'd say, would be more skills-based, and you do learn a lot. And the important thing is that I found is to pay attention to those things that you learn in your first couple of years. The way the course is structured, when I did my first couple of years, the projects seemed more throwaway than they actually were. And it seemed like you were going through more of a strict process. So we'd do a project on one area, then we move on to a project in another area, and you didn't really see much overlap. But then when you got closer to your final year and you were given projects, things that you perhaps weren't immediately familiar with, when you look back to the things you learned in your first year, they were instantly transferable skills that you'd learned. It was a matter of just keeping track of what you were doing. I don't know how the course is structured now and how it might change, but certainly by the time you get to your final year, you have a lot of flexibility to adapt your learning to what you do. My placement year helped me do that and helped me develop and helped me focus on skills that I needed in industry that I hadn't quite developed at university, and I could strengthen those skills and build basic things like how to use Word properly and getting proficient with things like Excel and PowerPoint. And you find a lot of other tools out there that are great and more innovative, and you can do a lot of fancy things with them, and they go down really well. But I now work for a corporate company, and I needed the basic set of skills before I then could go forward and suggest we start doing other things. But yeah, the final year helped me do that. It gave me room to do that. It gave me room to specialise in the areas I wanted to do. It gave me room to focus on the skills that I thought were key for my development. You could look at it as we were left on our own in the final year. We were given an intensive set of lectures and talks at the start of the year and told to go off. We could manage our own time. We could schedule any meetings we wanted to, have one-to-ones with tutors. We had much more control. Some people liked that structure, some people didn't get on with it, but it made it apparent that it's down to you to manage your time. And if you do that correctly, you can tailor it any way you want. Not necessarily in a way that reflects a good grade. You could work on skills that enhance you in certain areas that make you employable in an area that you want to go into. I found some companies were interested in the grade I got, some companies were more interested in the experience and the skills that I had. Ultimately, it was about the skills that I had and what I could achieve and what I could do for them that really got me where I am. There is the alumni element. I've made a conscious effort to keep in touch with the tutors that I worked with. Towards the end of the final year, because I treated it professionally, and I was in the studio from 9, well, most days from 9. It's Brighton, so you can have to go and have fun, but I was in the studio most days from in the morning till the evening. I treated it like a work environment, and with that comes the benefits of being able to have very frank and honest chats with the tutors, and you get to know them very well. I've since kept in touch with, I think, about 3 or 4 of them. That's then led to a possible collaborative project between the company I work with and the university. I'm in the position now to offer placements for interns. My relationship with the university is growing, and it's one I intend to keep. And I also keep in touch with, of course, other students, and I think after today I'm going for a beer with one of them. So yeah, the people I met at university and on this course, some of them are lifelong friends, most definitely. The university experience in Brighton was fantastic. It was brilliant. I think when I first applied back in 2007, 2008, it had one of the highest student satisfaction rates, and that's because it is Brighton. The location is pretty amazing. As much as you can work hard at the university, and then the facilities and the staff support that, you can definitely let off steam very effectively. Yeah, it's a very good place to have an education.